two off-road legends, one epic showdown. The year 2025 brings us two beasts that are rewriting the rules of adventure: the Toyota Land Cruiser and the Ineos Grenadier. On one hand, we have the Land Cruiser, a name etched in history with over 70 years of proven durability, luxury, and innovation. On the other, the Ineos Grenadier, a modern-day warrior inspired by classic off-road machines, built to tackle the harshest terrains with raw power and simplicity. But the question is, which of these titans stands above the rest? Is it the Land Cruiser, with its legendary legacy and cutting-edge upgrades, or the Grenadier, a newcomer that's all about rugged, no-nonsense capability? Get ready as we break down every detail: performance, design, features, and off-road prowess, to determine which of these machines deserves the title of the ultimate off-roader for 2025. Let's dive in. So, this is Parth, and you are watching MotorNation. Starting up with a basic overview. After a brief disappearing act that we thought would spell the end for the Land Cruiser on our shores, Toyota's iconic off-roader returned last year with renewed purpose. Now motivated by a four-cylinder hybrid powertrain good for a combined 326 horsepower, it shares its bones with the Lexus GX and has been downsized slightly, losing its third row in the process. The LC's newfound tidiness puts it in line with other legendary trail experts. The Land Cruiser has been reworked and modernized inside and out, packing the latest Toyota infotainment tech and plenty of driver aids, while retaining a serious four-wheel drive system and plenty of nods to LC history, including the base model's round headlights. On the other hand, you might notice that the 2025 Ineos Grenadier is everything most modern SUVs are not. This is not a soft, pampering lifestyle bauble. Dubbed the station wagon by its manufacturer, the 2025 Ineos Grenadier is designed for the world once the sidewalk ends. It's the first vehicle from a brand new automaker that's part of the privately held Ineos Petrochemical Company, an uncompromising off-roader that takes its cues from the Land Rover Defender of the 1980s. Engineered in Austria, built in France, and named after a London pub now owned by Ineos, the Grenadier is made for true off-road prowess and longevity rather than cul-de-sac affectation. Its tried-and-true old-school layout includes body-on-frame construction, recirculating ball steering, solid front and rear axles, 3 locking differentials, and a 2-speed transfer case with manual engagement. This vehicle stands in defiance against most modern SUVs that are little more than soft-riding lifestyle cars. It's tough, simple, and made for the outdoors. Moving on to what's new for 2025. Aside from the removal of the first edition model offered for 2024, there are no changes to the Land Cruiser lineup. While the 2025 Ineos Grenadier receives its first special edition, the 1924 Limited Edition, which celebrates the centennial of British clothing brand Belstaff. Limited to 1,924 copies worldwide, it wears Belstaff's centennial badges, exclusive magic mushroom and inky black paint, 17-inch two-tone alloy wheels, and a de-chromed black grille accented by dark gray front and rear skid plates. Inside, the cabin is accented in dark green with black leather trim. Otherwise, the Grenadier remains unchanged for 2025, retaining its 6-cylinder BMW engine and 8-speed automatic transmission. Ineos has begun building the closely related Grenadier Quartermaster pickup truck on the same platform, featuring a 4-door double cab and a 61.5-inch bed. Talking about the engine, transmission, and performance, given that this is an entirely modernized and smaller generation of the Land Cruiser, Toyota has elected to install a hybrid powertrain in place of a naturally aspirated V8 engine. A turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder is assisted by 2 electric motors to make 326 horsepower. If this setup sounds familiar, that's because it's similar to the powertrain offered in the Toyota Tacoma. All Land Cruisers come with an 8-speed automatic transmission and a 4-wheel drive system featuring a locking center differential, low-range gearing, a crawl control system, and hill descent control. In our test drive, we found that the hybrid powertrain provides good torque, but notice that the boost from the electric motors is inconsistent due to the small battery pack. The Land Cruiser provides a smooth ride on the road and is significantly quieter than vehicles like the Ford Bronco and Jeep Wrangler. In testing, the Land Cruiser First Edition got to 60 miles per hour in 7.7 seconds. While the Grenadier is powered by a turbocharged 3.0-liter inline-six sourced from BMW. The engine is good for 282 horsepower and 331 lb-ft of torque. Drive is to all 4 wheels through a standard 8-speed automatic gearbox and a 2-speed mechanical transfer case, which is operated by a chunky mechanical lever next to the gear selector. All versions of the Grenadier get a locking center differential as standard, which is engaged by moving the low-range selector lever sideways. The electrically locking front and rear axle differentials that come with the optional Rough Pack package are controlled by buttons on the overhead console and, in our experience, are a little tricky to engage. The Grenadier Trial Master Edition brings much more off-road equipment, including BF Goodrich all-terrain tires and a snorkel air intake. It also has a second battery, which allows it to power 110-volt appliances drawing up to 400 watts, and is pre-wired to allow fitment of additional off-road lighting and other accessories. Unlike many plusher rivals, the Grenadier doesn't have selectable terrain response modes or a smart traction control system, so skill is required to get the most from it off-road. Given its off-road priorities, it's little surprised the Grenadier's on-road demeanor feels as if it comes from an earlier era than its luxurious rivals. Low-geared steering and solid axles require frequent correction to stay the course over anything but the smoothest surfaces, and the 6-cylinder engine must be worked hard to deliver strong acceleration. Ineos claims a 9.6-second 0 to 62 mph time in Europe. The Grenadier's top speed is capped to 99 miles per hour. Taking a look at the interior, comfort, and cargo. Unlike the previous generation Land Cruiser, this new one is strictly a 2-row, 5-seat SUV. Toyota has downsized the Cruiser's body this time around, putting it into contention with midsize rivals. While the base 1958 trim does without many of the other trim's luxuries, it still offers niceties such as heated seats, a heated steering wheel, and a 6-speaker stereo. The other trim, simply called Land Cruiser, has a more deluxe cabin that includes ventilated seats, a 10-speaker stereo, and available leather upholstery. All Land Cruisers come with Toyota's excellent infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but the base 1958 trim makes do with a rather dinky 8.0-inch display. The top trim gets a much larger 12.3-inch touchscreen. USB-C charging ports and a wireless smartphone charging pad are standard fare, but you'll have to pay extra for onboard Wi-Fi or the available 14-speaker JBL stereo system. On the other hand, the Grenadier's cabin is trimmed with durable-feeling materials clearly designed for hard use, but the interior also features several neat design touches. Our favorite is the dashboard's center panel, with large physical switchgear clearly labeled in the manner of an airliner's control console. The aircraft impression continues with secondary switchgear, including the controls for the optional locking differentials on the roof behind the rearview mirror. We also love the secondary toot horn control, which produces a softer sound designed to warn cyclists and pedestrians. Utility is generally good, with the Grenadier having a deep storage box between its front seats, a big glove box, and several other smaller stowage compartments. The luggage compartment is big, too, with 44.3 cubic feet of volume with the rear seats in place. That's because, despite being longer than many contemporary 3-row SUVs, the Grenadier is only offered with 2 rows of seats, with rear legroom also more limited than in most similarly sized vehicles. The Grenadier gets a single 12.3-inch central screen that handles both instrumentation and infotainment functions. What initially looks like a smaller digital display in front of the steering wheel is just a binnacle for warning lights. Speed, fuel level, engine temperature, and revs are displayed in a small area on the left side of the center stack screen. The main section of the screen can be reconfigured to give more off-road driving data, as well as control entertainment functions. The Grenadier supports both wired and wireless Apple CarPlay, but only wired Android Auto. The Grenadier doesn't have a phone charging wireless pad, but individual USB-A and USB-C charging ports are located inside the storage box between the front seats. Talking about the safety and driver assistance features. Like most of Toyota's new models, the Land Cruiser is equipped with a generous list of standard driver assistance features. Bundled together in a suite called Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, you'll find lane departure warning, automatic high-beam headlamps, and adaptive cruise control alongside expected systems such as automated emergency braking. All Grenadier models come with a lane departure warning system, automatic emergency braking, speed limit detection, and a driver drowsiness monitoring system. And finally, coming on to the pricing. The price of the 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser starts at $58,150 and goes up to $62,920 depending on the trim and options. Though the base 1958 model's classic round headlights are tempting, we think the Land Cruiser trim is the one to go for, as it adds ventilated front seats, a 10-speaker stereo system, a larger 12.3-inch infotainment display, and wider all-terrain tires, among other items. While the price of the 2025 Ineos Grenadier starts at $76,700 and goes up to $88,550 depending on the trim and options. The base Grenadier is about as no-frills as a modern SUV can be. Steel wheels are standard, and cabin carpeting is an extra-cost option to allow for a hose-out interior. While we appreciate its single-minded, Spartan-like simplicity, we do object to the idea of a $70,000 SUV without standard heated seats. The Fieldmaster Edition is the one we'd recommend, as it brings a smattering of creature comforts in the form of leather upholstery and the missing heated front seats. The Fieldmaster also gets an upgraded audio system, a Napa leather steering wheel, and what are described as safari windows. Twin side-by-side moonroofs at the front is standard. An extensive options list means it is possible to add capability to the Fieldmaster, including standalone add-ons, including an integrated front winch, rock slider, sill protectors, and even red or gray paint for the ladder frame chassis. Tick every box, and the Grenadier can be pushed past the $100,000 mark. And there you have it, the 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser versus the 2025 Ineos Grenadier. Two off-road titans, each bringing their own unique strengths to the table. The Land Cruiser continues its legacy with refined luxury, cutting-edge technology, and all-terrain reliability that stood the test of time. Meanwhile, the Ineos Grenadier channels old-school ruggedness, no-nonsense engineering, and pure off-road capability, designed to conquer even the toughest challenges. But at the end of the day, the choice is yours. Are you drawn to the Land Cruiser's perfect blend of modern sophistication and legendary heritage? Or does the Grenadier's raw, back-to-basics approach ignite your sense of adventure? So, this is Parth signing off. Let us know your pick in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this comparison, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to MotorNation for more epic automotive showdowns. Until next time, keep exploring, stay driven, and we'll see you on the road or off it.